I believe it is true to say that Kenyans came out of the much anticipated Winnie Odinga interview on Citizen TV confused. She said this, but then she also said this and that. What did she mean? Kenyans are totally confused. Well, I hope one day somebody calls me Bwana Maliza Confusion, because that is exactly what I want to do today here on this show, so that by the time you finish watching this video, you will be in a much clearer position and you will totally understand. Now we have to start by understanding nature. Mtoto wa simba hawezi kukua gazelle ama antelope ambaye inakula nyasi. No, that can never happen. Mtoto wa simba ni nini? Ni simba. Lions only birth other lions as fierce, carnivorous animals. I wanted to emphatically emphasize that so that we all remember the DNA running through the veins and the entire body of one Winnie Odinga. Who do they belong to? A legend in Kenyan politics called Raila Odinga. Let me remind you of something else. What was one of Raila's nicknames? Do you remember? The mysterious one, Agwambo. Now, nicknames don't just land like the pizza you've ordered from somewhere. No, nicknames are earned. Raila Odinga, allow me to remind you, was nicknamed the mysterious one because many times he left people confused. They did not understand completely what Raila's game plan was. Now, before you start thinking confused leader, why don't you take some time and go and check out, I believe the 48 laws, are they? Yeah, for people looking for power and people looking to retain power. One of those laws is never let people second guess you. Understand where you're going. Never ever. Always keep them guessing. So that by the time they figure you out and where you're going, it'll be too late to stop you. Okay? You know, I watched that interview and I was telling myself, huyu ni student wa baba number 1. Very good student of Raila Odinga. Politics. And if you want to know a secret, this is the reason why President William Samoei Ruto is always nyoroshering characters in the opposition, because most of them are clueless. I'm sorry to say this, but it's a fact. They don't completely understand. You know, that is a pandemic in Kenya these days. We have too many people who think they understand, but they don't. This is everywhere. Even in political analysis, there are so many of us who believe we understand, and yet we don't. Even I have fallen into that trap before. I tackle a topic, and I'm sure I understand. Kumbe wapi? I don't totally understand. In this life, it is very important to totally understand. And of course, there's always the danger. When you have been doing something for so long, you become arrogant. Actually, the only way to keep on understanding and to totally understand everything, or most of the things you handle, is to remain humble, ready, willing, always to learn new things. Okay? Now, let's go into the specifics of the Winnie Odinga interview, so that I totally prove to most of us exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, with solid examples. Winnie told us something which shook Kenyans. I have a feeling that some very emotional Kenyans at this point of the interview walizima TV wakaenda kulala. She said that there's only one person who has been checking on them, checking on the family, to see how they are doing, to find out what problems they have, how they can be assisted. Only one person has been checking on them. And it is not Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila's close buddy at some point. No! It is not the usual suspects. It is William Samoei Ruto, the president. Ish. What is going on here? And then she also said, Oburu Odinga is doing a very good job. He is the perfect party leader to steer ODM through this very difficult phase. He is a very good interim party leader. Ish. And then she said something else that, according to me, was a contradiction of that. She started talking about these leaders who are messing up ODM. She started talking about these leaders who are trying to intimidate her. That was a contradiction because there can be no other faction within ODM that would want to intimidate Winnie Odinga. Can you think of any other faction within the party currently, other than the one allied to Oburu Odinga? So in my book, that was a contradiction. But don't make the mistake, if I can quote the late Baba, usione simba imenyeshewa, ukafikiri ni paka. Don't see a lion drenched in the savannah rain and confuse it for a domestic cat. That mistake can have fatal consequences. What I mean is that Winnie Odinga was not confused. Not for a second was she confused. By the way, did you notice that she had a tablet right in front of her? What was it for? Notes perhaps? Quick reference perhaps? Or maybe, this is my top suspect, quick prompts from her handlers. Now, let me give you a piece of information in case you don't have it. Raila used to use this very frequently. He used to have his handlers speaking into his ear throughout his critical media interviews. Mtoto wa Simba sio chui. Mtoto wa Simba ni Simba. Okay? And so if you agree with me that Winnie knew exactly what she was doing, what actually was she doing? Okay. Shall we go back to the source? Baba Raila Odinga? Why was Baba always using this kind of tactic during media interviews? Well, I've already given you one reason. Keep your opponents guessing. Because the opposition are nyoroshad all the time by Ruto. Because they go to a public meeting and they tell Ruto exactly what they're going to do next. They tell Ruto exactly what they're thinking, exactly what they're feeling. Now, please also allow me to refer you back to one of my textbooks during the times I was receiving lectures from my late political lecturer, Mario Puzo's The Godfather. What did the Godfather always used to tell his children, especially Sonny? Never allow anybody outside the family to know what you're thinking. Never ever. He always used to emphasize that. That is the reality of this life. If you want to survive anywhere, never let people know what you're thinking. And don't worry, if you have that weakness, we're in the same WhatsApp group. It has taken me decades to learn that life lesson. Don't give too much information. Never ever. Yeah? If somebody asks you a question, just give them barely enough information. Don't talk too much. Okay? Because why are you being asked most of these questions in this life? So that people know what you're thinking. So that they do what next? So that they counter you. they stop you dead on your tracks. And yet another tactic here, is to say nice things about people that you're about to finish. Yes, people that you're about to make a move against, you say nice things about them, so that kama wamezuba, they will relax. If they understand what is going on, like I'm sure some of Winnie's opponents do, they will still not have any information. They will still not know what you're thinking. This is very important in politics. But having said all that, still, Winnie was very clear. Raila Amolo Odinga was not interested in a union with Ruto for the 2027 elections. Baba made that very clear. She also said something else that I found super fascinating. She said that Raila was also very much aware of the fact that after he was gone, people may start thinking differently and may be of a different opinion. And he was okay with that. Very important. You see, to me, this also confirmed something I've been saying on this channel. Something I've also said in my highly sensitive special reports. That Raila Odinga left a political roadmap for his family to use. That particular part of the interview confirmed to me, more than anything else, that this is actually the reality. Think about it, and you'll totally agree with me. You are around in the world of the living, and people are agreeing with you. Of course, they have to agree with you, because you have the power. You're the one giving direction. But then if you understand human nature, you know that when you're no longer there, the true nature will emerge, which is usually greed for power, greed for money. Raila was very much aware of that. And I'm sure he was also aware that this could be potentially harmful to his dear family, and therefore used his experience and knowledge to give them a roadmap out of it. Wouldn't you do the same? Actually, this is a no-brainer, as the Americans would put it, because we know that 99% of the people who are hanging around Raila were there for selfish reasons, to enhance their own political careers, to make money using the name of Baba. So do you expect them to change when Baba's left? And of course, when Baba left, the opportunity to make money presented itself in a very beautiful package that landed on their laps. And that package was William Samoei Ruto and the broad-based government manenos, which promises millions, billions of Kenyan shillings if you can do 1, 2, 3 for the current administration. And the thing which makes me want to throw up is, you see, these broad-based people never mention the people they represent, the long-suffering Mwananchi. They don't, because they say, we have thought of a new strategy. We don't want to remain in the opposition. We want to be on the table where power is. We want power. And therefore, the quickest way to do that is to negotiate with UDA and get that power. Notice, there is no mention of the people. You will get that power to do what? Because only the naive will believe that you will get that power to take development to them. How? Is Ruto a development president? And even if he was, will he give you development before he takes development to his own people? Do you think in your wildest dreams that you will have PSs in the government of Kenya in almost every docket from your community, like is the case now? Do you have those dreams? Do you think you'll get even 20% of PSs in dockets in government when you get this power? No. That power, and you know it, will only benefit you and your family. You'll have state security. You'll have all the privileges that go with being in the cabinet, for instance, or holding that important position, okay, in government. Those benefits will only benefit you and your family, and maybe, just maybe, your grandchildren. Period. Haitafikia wananchi. Let us tell ourselves the truth. And that is what makes me want to throw up when these broad-based people start giving us their kizungu mingi. My apologies for getting carried away. One of the other things that came out of this interview, Baba used to use parables a lot. Okay? I really admired the way she answered the question about this character called Okech Sala. She described a section of the Thika superhighway where if you turn in one direction, you go directly to the DCI. Yeah, mtu ambaye ana collect information, working for the government, because the DCI is an investigative arm of government. And then if you turn the other way, you go straight to Mathare Mental Hospital. And so what she was saying in parables, this person is either working for some people, or this person akili yake sio mzuri. That is exactly what she said. But she said it in such a way that it was very powerful, very forceful, but unlikely to offend anybody. Beautiful. Classic Baba. And so for the opponents and those who want to bring Winnie down, who sat down eagerly for that interview, complete with notebooks, furiously wanting to take notes on how to figure out Winnie, poleni sana. They got nothing from this interview. Okay? But for the rest of us, where is Winnie going with this? Okay. She was very clear on who the enemy is. The people who want to take ODM in the wrong direction. The people who are misquoting Baba even when he is in the grave. Very bad manners. Who exactly are these people? Well, she said some very nice things about the top 2 people on her list. President William Samoei Ruto, her uncle, Oburu Odinga. The others, of course, she did not mention. But when you really think about it, those are the 2 movers and shakers of the other side. Those are the 2 main people. Don't fool yourself. The CSs from the ODM side who have been appointed, who are trying to flex their muscles and show they have power. Hakuna kitu. There is nothing there. If one wants to focus on the people they have to deal with politically, you have to focus on the head, not the tail, not the body, the head. And one of the things I admire about Winnie Odinga, the political candidate, is the fact that she totally understands. Baba must have drummed this into her head. She totally understands that in politics, when you want to make a move, especially when you're entering politics, you don't rush things. You make one move, give people time to absorb and digest. Kutafuna, swallow slowly, digest, before you make your next move. Otherwise, you're going to confuse people. Otherwise, it is going to be impossible for your popularity to keep on rising and rising. I say this especially because most of us are very impatient. We want Winnie Odinga to do something drastic. We want her to do things quickly and get up there at the top and help us change things in Kenya and produce the brand new Kenya. No, I'm sorry. It doesn't work like that. So, my friends, Kenyans, be patient. Hii mchezo imeanza tu, lakini ni mchezo wa mosmos, step by step. Oh, I almost forgot. By the way, do you remember how Raila used to avoid some questions deliberately? The person interviewing him asks the same question again and again in different formats. Raila always used to dodge those questions. Well, on this interview yesterday, mtoto wa Simba dodged several questions. I found that very fascinating. This interview to me was totally entertaining because it was political chess that reminded me a lot of political legend Raila Odinga. May he continue resting in peace. Now, when you really think about it, this very unfortunate case of the late Cyrus Njirongo and his sudden death, is actually an open and shut case. Because Njirongo himself told us that he was going to be murdered. Did he not? And not once. He told us that again and again and again and again until it got boring. He told us that very clearly. Not only that, the late Cyrus Njirongo also told us who wanted him dead. Isn't that true? So it's an open and shut case when you really think about it. However, the details are super fascinating. And that is why I'm wondering if you're yet to take full advantage of my latest offer, on a very captivating video, taken moments after the crash with the climax bus, and accompanied by an ebook that details everything, gives you mpaka the timeline. This is what happened. It even reveals exactly when the man must have been abducted. So please take full advantage of this offer, because in the next couple of hours, it's coming to an end. And the latest offer of only Kenya shillings 14.99 is something you don't want to miss. You can see details on your screens right now. Please move with speed to avoid disappointment. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.